Hi, everyone, and welcome back. I took a week off and didn't say anything. I was spiraling all last week. Very long story short, my son started school last week. A few days before school, the shooting in Minneapolis happens, and I didn't sleep for 3 days. And I cried all 3 days that I didn't sleep. And I was completely paralyzed with fear of sending my baby to school. And that was after I was already fearful of the separation anxiety that I was going to have, how my son was going to do, how he was going to acclimate. And up until the knowledge of the shooting, I started to get a little more confident because my son was really excited to start school and he was really happy and just really ready. And when your child is ready for something, the last thing that you want to do is use your worry and fear and hold them back. And I'm not going to ever hold my children back because I can't keep it together. And then I learned about the shooting of a disgusting human being shooting up a church and 2 babies died. It sent me. It really sent me. And I posted it online and I was just like, I can't be the only one. And I know I'm not. I'm not the only mom, completely, fearful and praying over our babies every day. I know I'm not. Anyway, so that's why I was out of pocket. And also, I don't even think I was going to talk about this and I may actually cut it out. But another reason, last week was a lot for me. Between spiraling over the school shooting that happened in Minneapolis before my son started school, that kept me up for 3 days. My job decided to give me a very pressing ultimatum. My job that I love has now given not only myself, but thousands of other people the ultimatum of choosing your work or your life because they are removing the balance. So last week was very trying for me and I just took a little hiatus. And so now I'm behind on episodes, which is phenomenal and great. But I wanted to give you that little update before we get into all the juice, all the meat, everything that we have for today. So that's why there was no episode last week and I apologize. But yeah, I was actually spiraling all 7 days. Love that for me. Anywho, these are the Bloom Sparkling Energy. Oh my God, they're delicious. It's so good and there's no sugar in here, which is like actually insane. Bloom, if you want to sponsor this episode, let me know because that's delicious. So, welcome to our first signed Kiah. Oh my goodness. It took a little bit because I was waiting for y'all to submit some things, but we got them. Here we go. Okay. First one. Kiah. My girlfriend has this old friend group from college that's super tight. I joined the group chat when we started dating, but her ex is still in there. He's married now, but every time she posts something, he reacts first. I've told her it makes me uncomfortable, and she says it's just the crew and there's nothing to worry about. I don't want to be controlling, but am I being crazy for wanting him out of the group chat? Okay. Couple things here that we have to unpack. Okay. Short answer is yes. You're a little crazy for wanting him out of the group chat completely because this friend group dynamic has been established since before you got here. Now, you are her boyfriend. You're her boyfriend. There are levels to this when we're talking about the title and role that you play in someone's life. Now, him being married, I get it, right? Because you're like, if he's married and, it could just be a friendship. I have one ex that I am friends with. One. and we weren't together very long. And every time I see him, all love, like my husband and him are friends, like, and we're talking very loose friends. There's no awkwardness, there's no weirdness, like there's no animosity, like there's absolutely nothing. He's a lovely person. I adore him. We like each other's stuff on Instagram. We chat sometimes, but that's really it. It's genuinely nothing. So I understand that dynamic of an ex is possible. So it depends. Is this ex just somebody that she had a one night stand with, a couple month relationship, or are we talking about they were together for 5 years? That really does play a part in how they interact with each other. Now, I'm not naive in the fact that there are people that are together for a very long time that can just be friends. Look at people who co-parent, right? So those systems in relationships do exist. Every time he's reacting to things, what's the context? Because if you're in the photos with her, or if it's, it depends on the kind of photo, everything is contextual and everything is very situational. So truthfully, you wanting him out of the entire group chat or out of the like friend group, I don't really think it's being controlling. I think it's giving a little insecure, because if he's just reacting to things and he's not being disrespectful, if he's not being inappropriate, and if he's really just being platonic, I think you're doing a little too much. Now, if she says that there's nothing to worry about, you need to look at your girl and say, okay, there's nothing to worry about. If there's a gut feeling that you have that something is going on, I would maybe investigate. But overall, if there's nothing to worry about, there's nothing to worry about. And this guy is married. So what we don't want to start doing is putting feelings and words in other people's mouths. I understand definitely where you're coming from, and it's kind of like you feel like he's stepping on your toes a little bit, but that could just be how he is. Maybe meet him. How do you feel when he reacts to things that you say in the chat? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to really get a vibe on him and a read on him. To be honest, the best thing you could probably do, you could press him about it in a nice way. You stepped into this friend group, so you're a guest. You see what I'm saying? Whether she's with you today and then she drops you like a bug tomorrow, she's still going to have that friend group and he's still going to be in that friend group. I really just think that if he's being respectful and kind and like welcoming you, I really don't think that you should be pressed on it, because she's with you, not with him. And if she wanted him, she would have been with him still. You're really going based on assumption. Talk to your girl. If she's kind of brushing you off like your feelings are invalid, then check in on that. But if she's like, no, babe, we're just friends, like it's really, really nothing, like look at what we have, and she's really giving you that reassurance, I really wouldn't press the subject. I really wouldn't. If she's giving you the reassurance, giving you the proof, giving you everything that you need, and you still feel some kind of way, then I would do a self check-in with yourself, baby, because that's a little crazy. So I hope that answers your question. Next one. Should you date someone who's perfect for you emotionally, but still hasn't gotten their life together financially? Yes, absolutely. It's kind of giving like, would you rather be a millionaire or miserable, or would you rather be happy and broke? I don't know if this is a man or a woman who asked this question, but this kind of seems like a female question. So I'm going to, from a female perspective here, I would date someone who is emotionally perfect, but hasn't gotten their life together financially. Here's the thing. And this is really like, if you're my girlfriend, 2 girls, a bottle of wine, I would really look into it. I would see what the circumstances are as to why they are not put together financially. It could be debt. It could be school. It could be life. You see, if this person is really ambitious and they have a lot of things going for them and things just really haven't panned out, but you're seeing like the effort and the ambition is there, like, okay, cool, right? Date them, because really you could be the missing piece that catapults them into that place that they want to be financially, right? You could be the strength, you could be the brain. There's a lot of value that women give into their relationships just by loving on a man the right way. Truly. I mean, you could give so much to a man just by loving on him and just by supporting him. And you could really see like, okay, wow, oh my God, right? Because What if that's the reason he's single is because no one sees his value and potential and they only see his bank account? That's not really nice. And you wouldn't want that done to you. So look at the situation, look at the circumstances. Listen, nobody wants to be with a bum. I get that. 100%. I understand that, right? Especially if you're out here and you're hustling and you're doing your thing. If this person is like wonderful for you and they have no ambition and they are lazy and they don't want to do one thing, no, girl, because there are a lot of emotionally stable, wonderful men out there and they got fat bank accounts. Okay. If this is a person that you're really vibing with and you see that they're really trying and they're ambitious and they've just gotten the shit end of the stick and you're like, damn, babe, like, why you really can't catch a fucking break? Like that happens to people, you know? Or what if they're on their way? So it really just depends on the situation. But if this person is perfect and you're just looking at their bank account, hell no. You're wildin' if you let that go. Again, if they're a bum, no. But if this man is trying and I'm just saying if it's a man, I'm assuming because it's a question I would ask. Absolutely. Like it seems like it's very female coded, this question. We don't want anybody with no ambition, no drive, no hunger, and I don't give a shit what they're trying to do, whether it's a 9-to-5, entrepreneurship, like it don't matter. So if they're trying and you get a really good insight of the situation and you're like, damn, like he's really trying, like whatever, you make that decision if you want to go on that journey with him, right? Next one. Would you forgive a friend who ghosted you for 2 years and suddenly reappears like nothing happened? Would I forgive the friend? I would forgive the friend. Would I ever talk to the friend again? Hell no. Bye, bitch. See ya. That's an easy one. I would forgive the person. I always forgive. People like to say you don't have to forgive. My personal philosophy, my personal opinion, I forgive everyone. And I do that because when I don't forgive, I lose sleep. My forgiveness comes with an ironclad boundary. It is indestructible, impenetrable. I could forgive you and hate you. I could forgive you and want nothing to do with you. So yes, I would forgive the friend, but fuck that friend. Don't talk to that friend. Matter of fact, I would be like, who's this? Okay, new number, who this? Fuck that friend. You don't need that friend. That's not a friend. And if this person ghosted you for 2 years, I mean, sure, again, like I said with these other ones, everything is situational. This person could have had a lot going on in their life. Now, if they just ghosted you on some fuck shit, no, fuck that. If they ghosted you because they had a lot going on in their life and they're apologetic or whatever, really fill out the situation, hold them at arm's length. You know what I'm saying? Because if they could ghost you and they have a lot going on in their life, what's to say that when you have a lot going on in your life, they don't bounce as well? So I don't really know. I would keep them at arm's length if, let's say, they were going through some things and they really just needed a lot of space. 2 years, though, you couldn't send a text is crazy to me. Like 2 years and you can't say like, you know, I'm going through so much. I really need to take a step back. Like, I love you, but I got to disappear for a bit, period. Right. 2 years is a very long time. So no, I stand on my answer. I would forgive, but fuck that friend. Sorry for what you went through, but I'm also a person too that you didn't think about. So deuces. Much love to you from afar. How do you know when it's time to cut ties with someone that you love but cannot trust them anymore? Bitch, this is loaded. Hold on. Let's read that again. How do you know when it's time to cut ties with someone that you love but cannot trust them anymore? I think you answered your own question. You love them, but you cannot trust them. And we're going to talk about vagueness here because there's not a lot of detail in what this question is asking. How do you know when it's time? When you feel that, especially if the lack of trust is growing. You know, I feel that love and trust really go hand in hand. What kind of a love are we talking about? Okay, I'll give you my answer like this. It really depends. If we're talking about romantically, It's done. This is my personal opinion. For me, the moment that I don't trust you, that's it. It is dead. It is gone. And I'm never going to trust you. If anything, anytime that I'm around you, anytime that you try to strengthen that trust between us again after it's already been emptied, my distrust in you only amplifies because I'm a very pattern of behavior person. And if you've done something that breaks my trust, every time I look at you, it's only going to amplify that feeling that I have in you, which is distrust, which then turns into worry and anxiety and always pressing you about it. And also too, if I don't trust you, I think you're a liar. I do not, I hate liars. It is, people that lie like it's nothing and they do it often. I find that they are awful, awful people. And I don't mean that if you can lie that you're a terrible person. No, because I can lie, which is why I know it's one of the worst things that you can do to somebody. I'm a very good liar. It's awful. And I learned how to lie at a very, very young age. And I have broken the trust of a lot of people when I was younger. When you break someone's trust from being on the other side of it, there's always going to be that level of skepticism every time that you're around this person whose trust you've broken. Once you don't trust them anymore, that love is going to diminish and dim until you have nothing left. I don't think you can be in an active relationship with someone that you're in love with and you do not trust. Because you can love someone and not trust them. You can be in love with someone and not trust them, but you are broken up and you're healing, and you're kind of going through that process. I think that if you do not trust this person and you find that it's only growing and you're very skeptical and it's almost as though you dissect everything that they say and you're watching their behavior, or you're watching their body language, or you're kind of watching the way that they say things to you and certain inflections of their tone, or if you're noticing that when you're texting you're picking up on a lot of different changes or like syntax changes when they write their sentences. That's what happens when you don't trust someone. It's almost as though every fiber of who that person is now under your internal magnifying glass because you don't trust them and you don't want to be hurt by them again. And I don't think that you can function that way. And I really think that when you enter a zone of your relationship that is no trust and there's no trust there at all, what starts to happen is it takes a big toll on your mind. And it's almost like when you don't trust someone and you're trying to keep them in your life, you become almost very obsessive over that person because you're trying to catch them before they hurt you again. So I really don't think that if you don't trust this person anymore, that you should have them in your life. Maybe a cutoff is a little harsh, So if you don't really want to cut ties and you want to continue building that relationship, I think maybe you can have really set boundaries with that person, and, we can work on rebuilding that trust. It's a lot to deal with. And it's not something that comes easy. It's not something that is done overnight. And I think that when you understand the fact that rebuilding trust can take years, and if that is a journey to rebuilding your relationship that you're ready to go on, then exercise it, execute it, But if you don't trust that person anymore and you feel that your worry and your anxiety is growing and there's really not much that you can do that is going to put your mind at ease to where you maybe think that you can start to trust this person again, release them from your life and just let them go. And I think that answer that you come up with when you're doing this internal work and thinking about it, can you forgive and move on? Or can you forgive and it'll linger? If it'll linger, I really don't think that you need to keep that person in your life, because the lingering and the worry and it's constant, it's constantly in the back of your mind. It lingers in it, and it almost as though it kind of burrows its own place in the back of your mind and it never goes anywhere. As long as you keep in contact with this person, it's not good for you. And so if it's going to linger and you're never going to forget it, cut them off. That's how you know when it's time to cut them off. Next one. Great question. Love that. Stumped me. How do you know when it's time to move out of a friend group that's turned toxic, but still feels like family? Oof. Damn. These are some hard ones. Y'all are really stumping me. How do you know when it's time to move out of a friend group? It's so interesting that this friend group kind of keeps popping up in these questions, because friend groups I don't really find last that long. I've always kind of seen friend groups always dwindle out, and there's always friend groups that I've been in that have always kind of fizzled out and no one's friends anymore. And you kind of have like maybe one or two or three people that are together and that are friends, but a group is a lot of people. A friend group that's turned toxic but still feels like family. Family is toxic. Do you love these people enough to manage the toxicity within the friend group? Is it toxic with you personally, or is it toxic with other members of the group? Truthfully, that's too much of a fucking headache for me. But I do know that these friend groups, like, I mean, some of y'all ride for decades, so I get it. And I know that it's a lot. It's very hard. Like, these are the kinds of relationships, in my episode, soft exits. These are the kinds of relationships that really make you kind of question, okay, well, what the hell? Like, do I cut them off? Like, these are the ones that really, really stump you, and they really have you in your feelings, because these are not people that are expendable in your life. These are people that you love. These are people that you want to be a part of, for the rest of your life. So the problem with toxicity is that when something's toxic and it spills on something, it's always going to stain it. It's going to leave a stain, no matter if you clean it up. So the truth is, honestly, it's just a matter of, are you willing to not only clean it up, but are you willing to keep the stain on that friend group? If you want to move out of it, maybe you can, give a little space. Be like, hey, especially if you're like, oh, this group feels like family, well, we need to have a family meeting because you bitches are doing too much. What is happening? What is the vibe? Because underneath toxicity, there is a root. Toxicity doesn't just form out of nowhere. Toxicity is created. Toxicity doesn't just bubble up somewhere. There's always the inception that happens before something turns toxic. And so if you really want to go to the cleanup and not leave the friend group, then you can find the root of the toxicity and address it. Because if the toxicity is not you and it is someone else, perhaps it's time to maybe say, hey, listen, I need to take a step back from you, because maybe it's not the entire friend group that's toxic. Maybe it's two girls, they have issues, and now they're trying to cause all these, back and forth, and he said, she said, and turning people against each other. Like, that's when shit is toxic and messy, and that's what we don't want. And so if you could find the root of the issue, and you can kind of find boundaries and you can address it, and have everyone kind of speak their mind, maybe do like some spirit circle and shit, and have everyone have like one of those jingly sticks. And it's like, if you know what I'm saying? Like, do one of those, especially if you're saying it's like a family is toxic. And the truth of the matter is, especially these questions where it's like move out or cut ties, like, how do you know in the moment, truthfully, in my opinion, the moment that you feel like it's time to move out of a friend group, that's the fucking moment you move the fuck out. Like, that's the moment. Once that thought comes in your head, like, yo, maybe this is not for me, maybe I don't want to be in this friend group no more, fucking bounce. Journal it, pray about it. But the moment that thought pops into your head, maybe that's the time to start thinking about making your exit. Because once that, like, maybe I need to cut this person off, maybe I need to release them, remove them, the moment you have these thoughts, girl, that's the time. How do you know when? Then the moment it pops into your head, That's it. It's either you take that time to remedy the issue, set the boundary, do what you have to do, find the root, fucking rip it out from the ground and toss it, right? Find the root of the issue and address it, or you move the fuck on. Next one. If your partner's mom treats you like you're not good enough, do you clap back or play nice? Oh my Jesus. Girl, okay. I find that clapping back is only appropriate when they are disrespectful. There are very graceful ways to clap back to where you get your point across, you are assertive, but you handled the woman with grace. There is a way to stand your ground, and there is a way to let them know I'm not the motherfucking one, but in the most beautifully graceful way possible. And that is what makes you the strongest person in the room. That is what solidifies your role. And I really do think that when these situations come up, when you have in-laws and people kind of telling you or making you feel like you're less than or XYZ, it really puts your role to the test. You're looking to solidify your role in your partner's life and let everybody know, like, I'm here to stay. Clap back respectfully. Do it in a way that exudes elegance, because you can elegantly be a bitch and get your point across. Now, a clap back that is very out of pocket, I really think should only be met if you receive a very disrespectful comment, joke, what have you. You should only play nice if the situation calls for you to play nice. If this is a new relationship, talk to your partner and say, how do you want to handle this? Because I don't like the way your mother makes me feel. Either you address it or I address it. You may not like the way I address it. So I'm letting you know now, you can either handle it or I will. Unfortunately, if you want us to be in a relationship, depending on how I am met, the way that I handle it may cause us to break up if it doesn't align with how you feel. Or basically, if you don't like how I handle it. When you're in a relationship, a lot of the time, it's not your person that you have a problem with. You and your person or your partner, your spouse, it's not them that's the problem. It's the outside influences, obstacles that find their way into your relationship and how you deal with those issues together. Because if no issues happened on the outside world, you and your person would be really great. Look at all of these reality TV shows for love. When you remove life and outside and the outside world, you and that person are really great. But then you add all of these external elements, and that's when things get very messy. In-laws, a big one. It was a big one in my relationship. And my husband and I made an agreement with each other very early on. You deal with your family and I'll deal with mine. Because, you know, stupid ass comments here and there, a stupid ass joke here and there. Okay, cool. You can gracefully clap back at those, right? But when we're talking about disrespect and we're talking about getting out of pocket, calling you out your name, calling you out your character, being very foul, very rude, no. That's when sometimes you need to veto that agreement and say, no, I need to stand on my own two motherfucking feet, because at this point in our relationship, they need to know that I'm not the motherfucking one. And sometimes that's going to equate to you being the bad guy. And that's going to equate to you being the villain. And if you're okay with that, period, let it be. But ultimately, if your partner's mom is treating you a certain way and it's disrespectful and your partner does not have your back, if your partner does not have your back when it comes to their own mother, they're not going to have your back when other serious things pop up in life. So that's something that you need to evaluate. Gracefully clap back, or you can passive aggressively play nice. That's my answer. Last one. Okay, this is a story. Here we go. Okay, Kiah, I just got married last month and I'm still heated. My husband's sister decided she didn't want to wait to announce her pregnancy. So during our reception, she grabbed the mic and made a big speech about us becoming an aunt and an uncle. Everyone was crying, clapping, and congratulating her. Meanwhile, my husband stood there smiling. I felt invisible at my own wedding. The next day, when I told him how I felt, he said I was being dramatic and should be happy for her. Now I'm wondering if I'm married into a family that doesn't respect me or if I really am overreacting. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. It's kind of the same thing when other people propose at other people's weddings. That is the tackiest shit I have ever seen. Some brides don't mind. I went to a wedding and my cousin did not mind. My cousin orchestrated it where a proposal was done at her wedding. She orchestrated it. Okay. That was a moment that she was able to be a part of. She was able to have her hand in it. She orchestrated it. She was cool with it. It was great that everyone celebrated. And then it turned into a big celebration. Okay, fine, period, boom. But the bride is in on it. The bride wanted it. Cool. I personally feel like no matter if the bride is in on it or not, it's very tasteless to do shit like that. But your wedding, your choice. This right here, this is tacky. This is tasteless. This has no etiquette. This has no home training. Couple things, Pookalicious. Your sister-in-law doesn't like you. That's number one. Number two, how did your family react to it? Because that's a very important. Because if your family was also sitting there smiling, maybe trying to like, show face and like have support, they were probably like, oh shit. That's crazy. Your husband, I think you need to sit that man down. You need to sit that man down and really have a word with him. Okay? I'm wondering if I'm married into a family that doesn't respect me. Yes, you did. Unfortunately, yes, you did. Now, let's not come with the comments talking about, well, how did you not know? You've been with him, da da da. People do not reveal themselves until after you marry into the family. I have seen it time and time and time again. It is a facade. It is a mask. It is a front. It is a facade. I tell you, it happens all the time. You do not see your in-laws' true colors until you marry into the family. I've seen it with so many people. It is disgusting. So she very well could have come to this conclusion on her wedding day and had no fucking idea based off of previous behavior, because the previous behavior may have made her feel like a princess. You see what I'm saying? This could all be revealed to her on her wedding day. Few things. I would riot. So that's number one. I would riot. So, short answer, no, you are not overreacting. You're the bride. You've been holding on to this for a month. Well, not even longer now that this airs. A month. You need to reassert yourself, because this is the issue that happens. When you roll over and you're like, well, let me try to get over it and let me keep peace, because if I say that, fuck all that. When you roll over, now when you roll over, you're now the wife that everyone can shit on, everyone can steamroll over, everyone can dog walk, no, fuck all that. Hell no. No. I would rather be the wife that everyone knows not to fucking play with than be the steamrolled fucking go with the flow. I'm easygoing. I don't cause no issues. No, hell no. I'm going to cause all the issues that I need to cause. Girl, it's your wedding. Someone grabbing the mic, and then the audacity to then use that opportunity in saying that you're going to be an aunt and an uncle to try to soothe the fact that she just grabbed the fucking microphone. She tried to bring it back to you, so that she said, well, I said you were aunt and uncle, not that I'm going to be a mom, right? Her bringing the attention back to you guys because it's your wedding day, to her is like, I softened it. I made it okay because I included you in my announcement. Bitch, no, you didn't. Shut up. I could be mad at you and I could be happy for you. And right now, that's how I would feel. And I would tell my husband, he says that you were being dramatic and you could be happy for her. Two things can be true. I'm fucking furious, but that doesn't mean I'm not happy for her. That doesn't mean That doesn't mean that you don't wish her well. That doesn't mean that you don't wish her a happy and healthy pregnancy with a beautiful baby. Absolutely. But bitch, you can still be furious, and you need to let your husband know that. You need to say, you need to curb that shit, or I will. Okay? And you need to let your sister-in-law, I would ask her, I'd be like, let me ask you something. Is there a reason why you did that at my wedding? Because you do know that was very tasteless, right? And I wasn't going to embarrass you on the day of my wedding, because listen, I hold my own. Okay? I'm not going to sit there and embarrass anybody, especially when you're announcing something so fantastical and wonderful. But did you really? Because not only did you steal my moment, you stole your brother's moment. Okay. And he can play that, oh, he's, happy for you and he was there smiling or whatever. Yeah, that's because you're his sister. You're not my sister. Okay. And you doing that shows that you have absolutely no respect for me, shows that any big monumental moment that I have in my life when it comes to me and your brother, you do now know that I'm not going to trust you with any of that information, because, yeah, I selfishly would like my wedding day to be about me. And anything I have going on in my life, I would like to selfishly have it be about me. So the fact that you took my wedding as an opportunity to share your pregnancy and steal my light, or try to steal my light, is very disrespectful. It's disrespectful, and I don't fuck with it. See, because there's a difference between, like, and this is the gag too, right? Because your sister-in-law, had she went up to you and like told you about it and maybe asked you, hey, like, I was thinking like toward the end of the night, like it could be like a nice final, I really don't think, especially if you love your sister-in-law, if you love your husband, if it was after the fact and after all the rah rah and everyone's just dancing and doing the whole thing and doing whatever, I would have no problem with it. Now, to do it during the middle of like the MC and like your first dance and everyone's eating and whatever, like I would wait until like later on. Like I would, first of all, I would never fucking ask them to do something so stupid. Like that's so fucking dumb. But if she had gone up to you and was like, hey, like, do you mind? And like maybe shared it with you first. So that would have been a really nice moment for you and her to bond over. And then for her to say like, like, but I don't want, it's just everyone is together and no one can ever be together like this. And, if you feel like I'm stepping on your toes, if you feel like I'm taking your day, I will not do it. I just wanted to ask you if maybe like toward the end of the night, I could maybe like do a toast for you guys to like sayonara everybody. And then I can announce that I'm pregnant. Like maybe it could be like, you see what I'm saying? If she took your feelings into account, maybe I could see where you would be like, yes, absolutely. Oh my God, congratulations. I love you so much. And it would be a really nice sisterly bond that you could have had before your wedding day. This could have been a moment like in your dressing room when you guys are getting ready and she shares that moment with you. You could have bonded, cried, the whole nine, right? But she didn't include you. She stepped on your toes, grabbed the mic like it was her motherfucking day. That's disrespectful, and you need to stand 10 toes down. You need to let everybody know that now you're going to be very quiet with how you share your information with other people. And you're going to be very selective in how you're including his family from now on. And you need to let your husband know that. And this is the time in a marriage where you need to, it's talking about, oh, like who wears the pants? It's like My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where he's like, I'm the head of the house. And then her mother was like, and I'm the neck and I move the head whatever way I want to. This is the moment for you to be that neck. And this is the moment where you're the neck and you wear the pants, because there's absolutely no. Sometimes, okay, don't get me wrong. Sometimes we are in our divine feminine energy and we follow our man's lead because he allows us to be feminine. He takes on the role. Absolutely. And that's what we want. And that's what we strive for, especially when you're a hyper independent woman like myself. Okay. I love to follow my husband's lead. My husband's my man. He leads me. I love him. However, on occasion, when that man needs to be checked, I will check him. Baby girl, this is one of those times where you need to check your husband and let him know you could either, you could be single. I could not be here. And that's the thing too. Like you need to let these men know that you want them. You don't need them. So I could want to be with you. I don't need all this shit. Like I'm good. You're in my life because I love you and I want you in my life. Let's not mistake that for you believing that I'm going to tolerate any of this shit because I can't live without you. And if you're not going to have my back, then what are we doing here? Because we can go get an annulment. These are the things that when people start showing who they are, you need to believe them. Men are men and they can have a lapse of judgment. I understand. Put that man in his place. Okay? Because him talking about that you're being dramatic and you should be happy for her, maybe you're overreacting. No. You know your mind. You know how you felt in that moment and you felt disrespected, as you should. You did marry into a family that doesn't respect you, and that's really upsetting. And the thing is, it could be a lapse of judgment. You know, it could have just been a spur of the moment. She could have been in her feelings. She's all happy for her brother, yada, yada. The thing is, though, you have to have a conversation with your sister-in-law and you have to have a conversation with your husband. And you really need to let everybody know that you're the boss. And that's pretty much it. And that's pretty much how it's going to be. That's how it's always going to be. And that's the way that you need to present yourself, because you are the woman of your house. You are the woman of your marriage. You are the woman of your life. And we are not going to let anybody tell us differently. You are the main character of your story. Let's not let anybody make you feel like a supporting actress. And what we're not going to do is spend an eternity with a man who's going to sit there and say to you that your feelings are not valid and you're being dramatic. Then be dramatic. Bring all the drama. Bring it and lay it out on the table so that for years to come, everybody knows she's not the one to play with. Okay. And that is all for today's episode, our first signed Kiah officially. If you cannot get enough of me the same way I cannot get enough of you, go ahead and follow us on Instagram and TikTok and subscribe to us on YouTube and do all the things and hit all the buttons and get all the notifications so that you don't miss out on anything. And if you want me to answer any of your questions, respond to any of your stories, or if you want me to just get all the piping hot tea, go to our link, ngl.link/Latinaly podcast, and submit your anonymous questions or submissions, and I will answer them candidly on our next signed Kiah. This is the Latinaly podcast, where we are untamed, uncensored, and always unapologetic. I am your host, Kiah Burgos, and I will see you next week. Also, too, merch, period. What do we think? I am actually gagged. I actually have on the matching sweatpants. So this says, very Latinaly of you. Love. Oh my God. Very obsessed. And on the sweatpants, it says the same thing, and it is embroidered. Embroidered. Very high quality cotton. Love. This sweater set is so comfortable. I love it. So let me know what you think. Do we love? Do we love? I love. I love it, though. I love it. Anyway, I'm very gagged over the merch. Let me know if you like it, and I'll put them into production because I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. Okay, bye. I'll see you next week.